Did you all notice what we just witnessed? The courtroom not only disrupted order, but it also disrupted the internet. Cameron Clowney, as usual, genuinely laughed aloud in court as Jim Jones's own son screamed and stood with Chrissy Lampkin. The same Chrissy Lampkin Mama Jones had warned would be the end of the entire Dipset dynasty. She was the woman at the center of leaked USB drives, judicial slaps, and whispered betrayals. Now, Jim Jones's child has completely flipped the plot, making it seem as though he had just witnessed the conclusion of a soap opera he had secretly produced. This isn't just courtroom mayhem, it's a dynasty unraveling in real time. So buckle up. Because what just happened inside that courthouse isn't just history, it's reality TV treason. Imagine this hardwood flooring, a court stenographer tapping quickly, and the sound of heels clicking down the aisle like it's a Love and Hip Hop reunion special. Not a courtroom, but wasn't just any day in court, sir. It was the day Harlem's hip-hop dynasty blew wide. We already know that the courthouse has been the setting for a die-pet catastrophe movie ever since. Mama Jones went full WWE and threw Chrissy Lynn across the face. We saw Chrissy Lannon pull out that strange USB drive as if it were her last Ono card. And Camron was leaking leaks like mixtapes. And Mama Jones was launching things with her. Fortunately, it was only a slap. But this new development baby, it's a narrative twist nobody saw coming because Jim Jones's son, let's call him Junior for the time being, was supposed to be the, according to our anonymous source, sitting 2 rows behind the defense bench. Junior requested a voluntary statement at the pretrial hearing. The judge, who was already over the circus, reluctantly ascended, and Junior stood as the next generation successor to Harlem's hip-hop tradition. He would have stayed out of the mess and tricked it out. But now he marched into the courtroom with his head held high and told the judge on record that Chrissy Lannon had been the only real person in the room the entire time. I turned to the room and said, I'm not going to keep watching everyone trash the only person who has ever had my father's back. There were loud gasps, and one reporter dropped her pen, and Mama Jones allegedly said, he's indoctrinated. Chrissy didn't flinch. Instead, she cocked her head as if she knew what was going to happen. Remember, this is the same courtroom where Cameron's leaked tape accused Chrissy Lampkin of being a double agent sharing information from within the family. So why would Jim's own son back Chrissy's side? According to a leaked communication purportedly taken from a burner WhatsApp conversation, Junior told Chrissy Lampkin that Mama is going to try to bury you with falsehoods. That is proof of internal treachery, the kind that escalates a family dispute into a full-fledged civil war. If that wasn't messy enough, additional courtroom records were filed just days before the hearing. And it was found that Junior had requested access to Chrissy's USB drive's contents. Not to defend her, but to see what was on it before it discovered that Chrissy Lannon had receipts. Turns out that he needed to know which side of the explosion he wanted to be on. The USB allegedly includes voice notes from Mama Jones about phony real estate ventures using Jim's name, as well as camera footage of her passing cash-stuffed envelopes to known Dipset connections. The text messages suggest that Camron knew the slap was coming and told Chrissy to bring proof. Yes, you read correctly. Camron and Chrissy Lane were friends and silent collaborators in a lengthy scam to expose Mama Jones for controlling Jim's business like a sick matriarch in a during his trial statement. Junior, who is finally picking sides in the hip-hop version of Game of Thrones, also claimed to have heard his grandmother, Mama Jones, conspire with a VH1 producer to flip the plot and portray Chrissy as unstable. They said they intended to distribute a modified version of the film and restore Mama's image while making Chrissy Lampkin a villain. The judge was reportedly shocked. The room fell silent except for Cameron's loud, sarcastic, "Wow, crazy world, huh, babe?" And then he smiled. Now let's talk about the reactions. As the internet did what it usually does, and hashtag Team Chrissy began trending once more. One popular video on Instagram featured Camron nodding in court with the caption, "When you knew the tapes were heat and brought popcorn instead of a lawyer, not everyone was laughing." a prominent Mama Jones follower and former Dipset manager, posted a now-deleted tirade on Facebook accusing Junior of betraying the throne and accusing Chrissy, Lampkin, of manipulating a guy who doesn't know what genuine devotion looks like. Those memes claim that he always looked at her as a second mom.
After the court broke for lunch, Junior was seen going out with Chrissy, not Jim Jones, his team, or even neutral with Chrissy side by side.
One camera captured her muttering something to him, and fans are still trying to lip read as if it's the Zapruder movie. Mama Jones reportedly ran out the back door, screaming into her phone and telling them it's all fake. Even TMZ couldn't keep up. Eventually, a spokeswoman for Jim Jones sent a suspicious message to the media, stating that Jim Jones's focus is on peace and not petty, and that he loves his family. As the court reconvened and the judge ordered everyone back into session, a new file was entered into evidence, a file that Chrissy didn't bring. A file that wasn't part of the USB, according to our sources, and it came straight from Camron's legal team. This means that Jim Jones is trembling in his timberlands because if his child is siding with Chrissy Lampkin, Camron is crumbling up in court and Mama Jones is losing control of the Dipset narrative. Chrissy is no longer crying and she is winning tactically and in heels. But wait, we're not even close to the final twist. Team, just when you thought the room could get any more tense, Jim Jones leaned forward, locked eyes with the judge, and said the one thing that changed the crowd's audible gasps. The stenographer even stopped typing for a second when one of the apes coughed like he choked on spit. This is the kind of moment that turns a courtroom into a viral TikTok in an instant. Mama Jones literally grabbed her pearls and screamed something so venomous that the woman sitting next to her actually switched seats, because, as anyone who has been following this Harlem soap opera since the beginning knows, Jim's son has never publicly taken sides and has always stayed out of the spotlight when family drama made headlines. However, now that he is in the spotlight in a courtroom, he's defending the very woman his grandmother thought was a traitor to the family line. Let's take a look at what transpired. According to court transcripts that were leaked within minutes, Jim's son, Mama Jones, of planning a smear campaign. He also said Chrissy Lampkin was trying to shield Jim Jones from financial ruin from litigation and from others. The man produced a bag of peanut M&Ms, stuck one in his mouth, and said the most obnoxious thing ever. Remember that Cam's leaked recordings caused the entire courtroom to collapse. And now he's watching everything unfold like a villain in a Tyler Perry finale. Is this petty? Yes. Or is it strategic? Absolutely. Because long after Jim Jones' son made his statement, guess who passed a manila envelope across the defense table? Chrissy's sister arrived looking like Olivia Pope, complete with receipts. The court asked her to elaborate, and Chrissy Lynn remained composed. I've kept my mouth shut for years to protect this family, but since the court seems unsure about who is betraying whom, let's make it clear, she said coolly and strategically. And then the receipts, emails, banking records, and bank transactions came pouring out, allegedly demonstrating that Mama Jones had established a side business using Jim's image and brand without his knowledge. The worst part was that it was all linked to a warehouse in New Jersey that had previously made headlines. During a 2019 Dipset affiliate raid, remember the story about phantom contracts and unregistered real estate ventures? Well, the same building. But hold on. Chrissy Lampkin brought more than just paperwork. She also brought an audio tape. If you thought the recording, which was played over the courtroom speaker like a mixtape debut, captured a phone conversation between Mama Jones and a notorious Harlem fixer, you were unprepared for what came next. In the video, someone says, "If Chrissy keeps digging, bury her and make it public now." Listen, we are not sure if the voice was truly Mama Jones, but the room acted like mysterious, gloomy, and useless. When things really heated up, a crowd of Chrissy Lampkin supporters started to gather across the street from the courtroom, armed with homemade placards, t-shirts featuring her face, custom foam fingers that declared, "#1 Daughter Lady Fall Chairs," and printed booklets on family law. The lawyer for Mama Jones requested that the tape be rejected back in court because it had unconfirmed origins. However, the prosecution was not having it and sought a study into the contents of Chrissy's USB drive. Treachery. The two sides fought like it was the versus fight of the decade, and the police had to set up barriers. Somewhere in the midst of the chaos, someone played Camron's old disc track, Harlem, which was lighted by a megaphone. The drama inside the courthouse had just started, and Jim's son wasn't finished talking. So he picked up a handwritten letter that appeared to be from Jim Jones himself and was dated 2 weeks prior to the original. The letter, which he read, aloud contained quotes like, "I don't know who to trust anymore. Chrissy Lamp might be my only anchor in this mess. Tell my mother to stop acting like she's everything under his authority." Mama Jones began to fumble with her jewelry as if she were about to throw it, and her legal team frantically whispered Chrissy just leaned back in her chair with her arms crossed. Cool as a cucumber marinated in revenge, Camron now chewing gummy worms. The judge finally had enough and declared that the case would now require closed-door hearings due to enormous public interest, probable criminal ramifications, and social media turmoil. Cell phones were taken away, cameras were prohibited, and even the court sketch artist was booted out. But it was too late. The entire transcript of Jim's son's speech leaked within hours. After that, the courtroom tape's pirated audio was posted on Telegram, YouTube, and any dubious Discord server. Reaction videos were all over the place, and by bedtime, Camron had posted an Instagram post with a black background and white text that read, "I told y'all devotion above legacy." There was no caption or tags, just vibes and chaos. Chrissy? Lannon went live for precisely 24 seconds without makeup or filters, just staring straight into the camera and declaring, "I kept the files. I maintained the quiet, but I won't keep accepting the guilt." She then logged off as someone posing as a former Dipset tour manager started publishing what they called the Chrissy Lamine Chronicles, a series of allegations involving financial mismanagement, staged fights, and hush money that dates back to 2013. Whether or not this is true, it doesn't matter. People are devouring it like hot wings during a hurricane. The question that everyone is now wondering is whether Jim's child is supporting Chrissy Lampkin. And Jim's own remarks suggest that he doesn't trust Mama Jones, who actually manages the Jones legacy. Since the court has been shut down, what Harlem has taught us is that secrets don't stay buried, especially not Chrissy Lamine, who was still holding more data. And guess what? Us. That USB wasn't the only one. Late that night, while Harlem was still debating an Instagram comment and YouTubers were live broadcasting themselves reading court, another anonymous Twitter user said something that stopped the entire internet from scrolling. A second USB, or rather leaked contents from what is now known as the shadow drive. To make matters worse, there are undercover recordings of private conversations between Jim Jones and Mona Scott and emails that show VH1 executives were fabricating stories to portray Chrissy as crazy and a rumored contract where Mama Jones was promised a consulting producer credit in exchange for pushing Chrissy out of the franchise. Yes, you read that right. The leak revealed that Mama Jones was involved in a covert scheme to ban Chrissy Lamine from all upcoming love and hip-hop projects. It didn't stop there. TV emails suggested that she would be barred from brand negotiations, cut off from dipetrylated clothing lines, and even have her real estate endeavors ruined. Wasn't just a dispute. It was a full-fledged murder of a woman's career, and the receipts were too good to ignore. In the midst of all of this, Camron was still grinning and released another video from Dubai, this time lying in an infinity pool, sipping orange juice, and declaring that some of you truly believed Chrissy was the villain and that you owed that woman an apology. Meanwhile, VH1 was in full panic mode, and internal sources revealed that emergency meetings were being organized to discuss damage control. Styles, information, and timestamps were displayed as though they were in a courtroom. Version of CSI with TikTok attorneys stitching the papers and dissecting each frame by frame. A Candy's letter was allegedly sent to Twitter. But it was too late because the files had already been downloaded, copied, and added to 50 other threads. Secret group conversations and YouTube videos with titles like Chrissy's Revenge, Mama Jones Exposed. But let's get back to Chrissy Lampkin because even as the internet debated which side to support, she was already planning her next move. At 8:38 the following morning, a verified Instagram account posing as Chrissy's official